I've been able to make $81,500 in a single month at 19 years old with no degree. I dropped out of university, and I'm honestly not that special. I'll hit the refresh for you since I know it's kind of hard to believe. So you can see over $500,000. Let's go to the month of November. There you go. $82,000 in a single month. And the thing is, I'm not special. Like I said, I was in university. I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. I didn't want anybody to tell me what to do. And I've been able to make $82,000 in a single month selling AI. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the entire process from how to pick your niche, the offer that you're selling, how to fulfill on this offer, how I'm able to fulfill on this offer, how much I'm able to sell it for, the profit margins, exactly how to get started today. So stick around until the very end of the video, because if you are stuck, if you're unaware of what you need to do in order to start making money online today, I can tell you what's worked for me. Sure, there's different ways and different methods that you can go about it, but I can show you something that I know for sure works since I've done it myself. So the first thing that we're going to do, no matter what business you're going into, is select a niche. Now, the reason that we're doing this and the reason why it's so important is if you go into the business market targeting everybody, you're going to become a jack of all trades, master of none. And that's not a good thing, okay? Because what that means is not only are you not going to perfect the offer and the people that you're speaking to, but you're going to be competing with a lot more people. Okay, there's going to be a larger ocean. There's going to be a lot of others that are targeting the same people that you're targeting. Okay, that's just how it is. Instead of just focusing on one super niche audience, you are now focusing after everybody. Anybody who comes to you will work with them, and that's just on the acquisition side of things, not even the fulfillment. Are you even going to be able to succeed properly for them? That's the question. Okay, so yeah, first thing you're going to want to do is pick a niche before anything. I've listed a couple here. So you have home services, you have professionals, and you have info products. So roofers, HVAC, pool openers, plumbers, electricians, construction. And then you have the professional side, lawyers, accountants, dentists, doctors, real estate agents. And then info products, coaches, consultants, e-com, SaaS, marketing. Now, a lot of people are like, Nick, what if I, go after home services, roofers, and a lawyer reaches out to me and they want to work? Well, you're not going to turn down free money, first of all, okay? So that's going to be a unique position that you're going to have to be in, and you're going to have to ask yourself, okay, can I turn down this money at this point in my business? Most likely the answer is going to be no. But no matter what, if we're focusing after a niche and focusing after an offer and we become the master of that offer, you'll make more money than if you were to go after everybody and just let anyone come through. So there are exceptions, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this is, set in stone. You can be flexible, especially in the beginning with like cross sells and stuff like that, and I'll talk about that in the offer. But if you don't want to go after any of these, another thing that you can go and do, and what I suggest when picking a niche, is you take a look at two things. Number one is, do you have any sort of personal connection with anybody in a niche? So do you know a roofer, a friend of a friend of a friend, or your cousin's uncle, or your brother's friend? Okay, it could be anything like that. I would go after that because right off the bat, you have a warm lead, a warm connection to a customer that could potentially convert. And sure, starting off, a lot of people, they say don't mix family with business. I think that only applies if you're working together. If it's two separate things and you're helping them out with something else, there should be no reason that it causes any problems. And then number two, go after the highest volume of calls business relied, okay? So a business that heavily relies on a high volume of calls. That's the number two thing that I would look for the conversational phone calling AI that we are selling, okay? I know I kind of just spoiled it right there, but what are we selling? Like, what can you sell to people and businesses that you could charge $10K up front, to where I only really had to sign, as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clients in a single month for $81,000. So what are we selling? Now, in order to generate money in any business, and majority of businesses, especially online businesses or service-run businesses, is you need leads. So you need to be able to generate people who are interested in your product. You need to be able to attract those leads' attention and get them to speak to you, whether that be face-to-face or on a Zoom call or on a phone call. And then you also need to be able to convert those leads into money. Doesn't really mean anything if you can't do one of those things and one of them is missing. Okay, it's really hard to take a customer who is interested in your product and directly convert them into money. It's very hard unless you have a lower ticket product. Now, the offer I'm going to go after in the niche is going to be the more home service based. Now, the reason why I'm going after them is because not only are they heavily reliant on a higher volume of calls, but they also have a very high ticket offer. I'm talking 20, 25,000 per installation. So if you're charging 10K, even if they sign one client, they've already made their 2x investment on working with you. Okay. So what we're going to do is, in order to generate leads, we're going to run ads on Google. Okay, we're going to run ads on Google, and we're also going to run ads on Meta, Facebook, and Instagram. Now, the reason why I say Google first is because it is super underrated, and in my opinion, it's one of the most underlooked forms of advertising for service-based businesses. I'll give you an example. Okay, so a lot of people, plumbers, electricians, whatever, they're running ads on Facebook. So Facebook ads, how they work is there's story ads and there's real ads. Let's say you break your toilet, okay, and a plumber's running ads on Instagram and Facebook. If you've broken your toilet, you're not going to go on Instagram and start scrolling and view your friends' stories and everything, and all of a sudden a plumber ad popped up. Oh, I'm going to click on it, right? That's not how it works. If you break your toilet, the first thing you do is you go on Google and you search up plumbers near me. And what Google Ads does and how it works is you run ads based on a geographical area. So like it would be like a 15-kilometer radius, a 20-kilometer radius from your business, depending on how far that client is willing to drive. And then you just put keywords. So you do plumber near me, you do toilet broken, how to fix a toilet, anything like that. And the keywords, as soon as somebody Googles that and they're in the geographical area of the targeting, bam, the link will pop up at the very top for the website. And then from there, they'll give you a call and give the business a call and then book an appointment or a consult, in-person consult with the technician. And then they'll come in and fix the toilet. And plumbers make bank, like $200 an hour, I'm pretty sure is base for a plumber. So those guys make a lot of money, and then if something is really wrong, it'll hit the bank. So yeah, that's why we're gonna run ads on Google for those home service based businesses, and then Meta is a great way to hybrid, because sure, for emergency cases, it's good because the toilet breaks in that moment. But what if somebody, their plumber just retired, right? They need one on standby to have a good to go. So if you are running ads on Facebook and Instagram, it could be a different way of acquiring the client. Maybe not right away, but it's still going to help that client in the long run. Then the second thing that we're going to do in order to solve the second pillar in the business is we're going to use the AI caller to set appointments. Now, what are we going to be using? We are going to be using Synflow AI. So Synflow is a conversational AI platform that you can use to call leads instantaneously as soon as they opt in and book them into an appointment directly in your calendar. There's a ton of other features and integrations with Zapier, with Make that you can do, and even have different pathways going and call transfers. There's a ton of things that you can do with it, and you can actually book those appointments for a fraction of a price if you were to have a human doing it. And the other thing, and I'll talk about it a little bit more, is you're removing the human element, the frustration, the time delay, right? Because if you have a VA who's calling out the leads, a VA is a virtual assistant, that guy can only speak to one person on the phone at the same time. He can't have two phone calls going at the same time. The AI theoretically can have unlimited, right? If you have multiple accounts set up for the client, you can have unlimited. They won't need unlimited. I would say max, you'll see like 5 to 10 concurrent calls for a service-based business, and those guys are like number one. Like they are the top dogs if they have 10 at the same time going on. That would be hundreds of calls per day. That's a very doing millions per month service business. So that's what we're gonna do. And then what we're gonna do on the sales side for converting the leads, this is a little bit harder, okay, to do directly, but we're going to rebuild our sales script to be 10 times better with AI optimization, copywriters, whatever, or we're gonna place closers into their business, okay? And then obviously that's going to bring revenue for the business. Now, how do we actually fulfill on this offer? So this is what I use. I use this arbitrage model. Now, with this arbitrage model, I've been able to retain a 80% profit margin, and I'm gonna break down the numbers. Now, how it works is step one, you receive $10,000 up front from the client. Okay, they give you the 10 grand up front. That's how it works. There is no pay per usage. There is no, I'll guarantee you 20 appointments and then you give me 10 grand. We're not doing none of that shit. I don't want to attract the wrong type of client. I am going to charge $10,000 up front. Even if you don't have proof of concept, there's a lot of ways that you can go around it. And I'm going to talk about that as well. We're going to charge $10,000 up front because otherwise I can't help them. If I don't have money to play with, I cannot help them. I have people to pay, and you're going to see how the process works. Okay. So number two is once we receive the $10,000, you're not going to go and put a down payment on a C8. Okay, you are not going to go and buy a car with your new $10,000 that you brought from your first client. Please don't do it. I see so many people, they sign their first client, sign first two clients, and then they relax and they go and splurge it on something else instead of help scale the business. Okay, so you're going to allocate the funds. You're going to set a portion aside to scale the rest of the business, and you're also going to set a portion aside to pay and help people ensure that you get this client good results. Okay, so number three is obviously after you've allocated the funds, you're going to hire a contractor. You're going to hire a contractor using the allocated funds, the ones you set aside, and in order to get very, very, very good results. So paying an expert to do the job. Okay, and then number four, you're going to deliver the service. The contractor is going to perform the service and is going to deliver it to the client. So you are essentially don't have to do anything. And then retain profit. So the remaining and majority of the money is retained as profit, and it stays in the balance. Now the cool thing is this is the arbitrage on the fulfillment side. In terms of the closing and the acquisition process, that will have to be done by you in the beginning. You can also use AI to help, but I've gotten to the point where in my business, I'm not working anywhere inside it. All of my ads are being run and optimized. That's the only job that I have. I optimize creatives, I change the ads, I work on content, as you could see, and then I manage all the employees. But my setters, I have closers, I have a triager, a confirmation caller, triager, I have fulfillment engineers, I have a client success manager. So every single thing inside of this arbitrage model can be expanded, not just in the fulfillment process, but into the entire process. So you are essentially a money printing machine. Now, obviously, if you stay like this and you become lazy and you let things kind of stay like that, it won't last forever. Business is not that easy. Competitors pop into the market. You need to change. You need to optimize. So obviously, I'm not telling you it's all nice and dandy after that. You have to figure out new methods. You have to always be testing new creatives. You have to always be optimizing for the best process and always looking to scale. Okay, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. Now, how exactly are we going to fulfill for these, these parts? Like, Nick, how am I going to hire a contractor? Where do I hire a contractor? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. So, for the 3 pillars, right? We have to focus on 3 pillars. We have to not only run ads on Meta and Google, but we also have to have an AI caller, and we also need to rebuild their sales script. How are we going to do that? We are going to, for the marketing agency side, for the lead generation side, hire a white label marketing agency. So there's a bunch. You can go online. You can find any. One of the ones that I've seen is DashClicks. So you could literally get white label Facebook ads done for less than, it's like $200 a month. There's other ones that are completely white labeled, done for you marketing for $500 a month. You could use ChatGPT to find out a bunch of different things that you can use for that to start out. So that's how we're going to fulfill for the marketing side. Now, what I would suggest to do in the arbitrage model in order to succeed in running successful ads for every single client is first use a portion of the $10,000 upfront from the client and pay the marketing agency. Then learn from the marketing agency and then hire a subcontractor, pass down the knowledge that you learned from the marketing agency, and pay the subcontractor. You don't want to rely on a marketing agency because they're not working in your business. They're just working for your business. A subcontractor is technically like a employee, just a commission-based, because you're not paying them by salary. Usually subcontractors are paid per build or per project or whatever. And then eventually you can upgrade the subcontractor into a full-time employee. If a marketing agency is performing for you, they have a set of $500 per month for each client. So you're kind of stuck with them. That's why I suggest you learn from the marketing agency yourself, you pass it down to the subcontractor, and then eventually you bring on the subcontractor as a full-time employee, paying him just a salary. You're going to be able to cut your profit margins more because now instead of $500 per client, you pay $2,000 a month, and that subcontractor or now full-time employee can handle 10 clients instead of triple the cost that it would be if you were to pay him $500 per month, okay, or a marketing agency $500 per month. Now, that's how we're going to fulfill on the lead generation side. So the way that we're going to fulfill for the AI caller is, like I said, we're going to be using Synthflow. So what we're going to do on Synthflow, and what I personally suggest is I don't think you should go out and hire a subcontractor right away. You should learn how to build it yourself. Okay, there's a Synthflow YouTube channel, there's a Synthflow Academy. Learn and understand the product. This is going to be important not only for the fulfillment side and teaching your subcontractor how to do it, but it's also going to be important on the sales side. You have to understand what you're selling. If you don't understand your product, your customer is going to be confused. You are not going to close deals. Okay, it's super important on both sides. Then, once you understand, you can then pass it down to a subcontractor. And like I said, those guys are going to be software engineers, most likely from a third world country. They're going to be very good at what they do, but they most likely have never heard of Synthflow in their entire life. So the training process is going to be brutal if you are not training them on Synthflow and you have no idea. They essentially have to figure it out themselves. And I promise you, if they don't have 1% equity in your business, they don't give a shit, okay? They just want to see money coming through, and 99% of them aren't going to put in the proper work and training in order to get very, very good results. You have to train them. Okay, that's just how it works. You're going to learn it the hard way if you don't listen to me. So that's how we're going to do that, and I'll tell you at the end here how we're going to find any subcontractor for any point in time. The third way is we're going to hire a VA, or we're going to place closers into the business. So this is something that you could fulfill for right away. I personally think it's pretty fucking easy. You can learn it in 30 minutes using AI optimization for copywriting. Okay, so you can improve sales scripts with ChatGPT, and then if that doesn't end up working, you can actually place closers. And what this, how this functions is, home service-based businesses, they usually have technicians, and technicians, unfortunately, they go in person, which means you can't place a closer that doesn't live in that area. So It's a lot tougher to fulfill for. If you can replace their closer with an even better one, that is a 5K upcharge on top of the 10K that we're charging easily. With optimization and the sales scripts, I would say you just keep it at that, keep it at the flat 10. But if you're able to place in closers within the area, you can charge an extra $5,000 on top. The only thing is it's very, 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 very tough to consistently fulfill for that because a closer can fluctuate, okay? Depending on the resources and the number of available closers in the area and your recruiting method, whether that be an agency or, hiring ads, it's going to fluctuate. So you might have good results for one client and bad results for another. And I personally don't like to be out of control. I want consistency. I want every client to be happy no matter what. So you can look into it. Placing closers is a good option. I've seen recruiting and talent agencies work on a referral project with the agency, and both sides and both parties make a lot of money. So yeah. Now, how are we going to hire any contractor at any point in time? We are going to use a software called Upwork. So Upwork is pretty cool because what you can do is you can actually view posts without actually making a job post. You can view people who are interested in working. So for example, right here, you can even set location, so regions based on where they're at. So like if we're looking for a closer, you'd click on one of these and ensure that they're in that area. You can also search for talent here. So AI engineer. Let's say we want to fulfill for a contractor. Look at that. You have $40 an hour for generative AI engineer, and you can look and then actually invite them or like the job. Reach out. You can view the profile, the success rate of the client, the total jobs, total hours done, success rating. So this is 100% percentage of success rating. So every person who's ever hired him on, he was able to fulfill for them. So this is how you're going to hire your subcontractors. Now, part of running ads and building up a reputation, if you're not aware, we've spent over $100,000 in ads. Right now, we're probably getting close to like $150,000. And what that does is it builds up a following of not only people who are interested in becoming clients, but also people who are interested in working for you. And also organic content helps with that a lot, not just paid ads. So a lot of times what I do before I even go on Upwork is I'll make a post on my story. The on-target earnings, the qualification, everything that's required, and also a little bit about our company. And every single employee that we have hired on right now has come from my Instagram, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's one thing as well. That's, as you start to scale and build your business, you will build up a reputation, and eventually you'll be able to leverage your community and the following you've built up and the trust you've built up if you're creating something good, and you're transparent and you're unique. So you won't even have to use Upwork. But yeah, to start, no following, you're starting from scratch, Upwork is a great alternative. And then same thing, Upwork for VAs, but honestly for a closer placement, I would use talent agencies. So closer, talent agencies. And honestly, there's a lot of talent agencies for closers that actually hire for free. So for example, I know there's a company called Closing Bible. Closing Bible is a program. So they teach people how to become closers, and then they actually hire and they guarantee as part of their offer to place you into a business. So you can actually reach out to these guys. They have a second program, and then you can get a closer placed into your business completely for free. I think there's a bunch of requirements, qualifications in terms of minimum revenue required for your business, but like I said, that there's lots of alternatives, there's lots of solutions. Okay, be experimental, play around with things. Okay, so now that we've identified exactly how to fulfill for the offer, the arbitrage model process, and how to start fulfilling today the offer that we're selling, and then the niche, we need to understand, okay, how much are we going to sell for? I'm going to break down the cost. So the initial payment of $10,000, you could also do the upsell or the cross-sell for the closer placement or other things, doesn't really matter. Then with that $10,000 upfront, they receive 3 months of support. Okay, after the 3 months is over, they have to pay a $1,000 to $1,000, $1,500 per month in order to retain support, in order to retain access to everything that they need on the platform if that's necessary. Now, this is really good for clients and businesses that fluctuate in terms of the product, in terms of their offer. So a good example of this would be, even though you've built the agent at one time, the AI agent, the phone caller, that business could switch its price and switch its offer and switch calendars, multiple times per week. And if you get the business to rely on you and, you are succeeding for that business and they're seeing an ROI, they're going to continue paying you monthly support, because a lot of these guys are not tech savvy. They're not willing to learn the platforms, the functionality. So if they receive a return on investment of at least, after the 3 months, of at least $1,000 or more, they will continue paying you. And what you've done is you've collected $10,000 up front, which allows you to scale your business further. You have money up front. And then you also are building recurring revenue by having a monthly retainer that is built on making your clients rely on you. Okay. And then of course, with all of this, your client still has to cover ad spend and software costs. So you are not covering that with the 10,000 and the 1,000, 1,500. That's how it works. Okay, so don't worry about that. A lot of people ask like, oh, do I have to pay for client ad spend? No. So let's break down the profit margins. Now, like I said, this is for the subcontractor and arbitrage process. Once you hire on employees and you have the process dialed, you can start to trim down some of the fat and get up to like 80% margins. So white label agency, okay, done for you for 3 months. It's going to cost you $1,500. Then you have $1,000 for the AI developer. Then you have $900 for the VA and closer placement, and you're left with $6,600 to do whatever you want, really. And personally, I would set that aside, keep a nice cushion for the business, scale the ad spend, bring in more clients. Don't use the money to put the down payment on the CA Corvette, okay? Don't do it. I promise you're gonna regret it. Don't go and splurge it on a trip to Miami. Don't do it, okay? Or a trip to the casino. I don't know, maybe you guys are gamblers, but don't do it, trust me. Keep a little cushion. Pay yourself out, okay? But I didn't pay, both me and my business partner, we did not pay ourselves out more than $2,000 a month after the first 6 months of being in business, and we made over 200K. So I just personally wouldn't do it. That's just me. I'm usually smarter and more conservative with my money. Now that we understand the profit margins, how much we're going to sell it for, how to fulfill exactly for a client, how are we going to sell the offer? How are we actually going to pitch this to people? How are we going to close clients for the offer? We're going to be using Meta ads. Okay, so Meta ads is Facebook and Instagram combined. It's almost like a hybrid. If you don't know, Facebook actually purchased Instagram a few years ago, I believe. So yeah, Mark Zuckerberg, he's doing crazy things. Respect to the man. And what we're going to do is we're going to combine that. We're going to use Meta ads, and we're going to use ChatGPT in order to create a primary text and headline for advertisements. AI is going to do it better than 99% of you watching this. You'll have copywriters who are good, okay, but that's just an extra cost and you don't really need it. You're not going to see a huge difference from your primary text and headline. The most important thing that you're going to see with ads is the creative, okay, and there's two ways to go about it and selling to businesses. You could do a UGC ad or you could do a demo caller ad. So the UGC ad is user generated content. It's you speaking to the camera saying, hey, business owners doing over $50,000 per month, sell this conversational AI infrastructure, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that would be a UGC ad. You're speaking to the camera. And now with AI, there's different ways to go about it. You can actually sit on your couch and have AI read out a script and it looks like a human done for you. Or you can use a demo caller. And in my personal opinion, this works 95% of the time better because it's straight to the point. Sure, the cost per lead might be a little bit higher on Facebook just because more people are running the ad, but I think it personally is better since it's straight to the point. There's no BS and it stands out. So I'm going to play both for you. First, let's listen to the AI UGC and then we'll play the demo.
Avoid these two mistakes if you have an Android phone. Number one is getting too many useless emails. Number two is not being protected against spam. They are ruining your storage and productivity. Instead, try this app for free. CleanFox will block useless emails and stop spam in one tap. This is the most used email cleaner. Download it for free.
There you go. It's pretty cool. Honestly, I think the lips don't really match up. In my personal opinion, it's super expensive, overpriced, like $150 for a few videos. I would just rent out a studio, talk to the camera yourself. That way, you are the one on the ad, and then you're also the one that's speaking to them on the sales call. It builds trust. It shows, you're a real. I don't know. That's why I just personally don't think these perform as well. Or you can use the demo caller. Let's have a listen to this here.
Listen, you need to stop calling this number. This is the 5th fucking time this week that you're calling. Okay, I'm tired of these calls.
I completely understand, Nick. The reason for my call today is to ensure that you and your loved ones have the best insurance coverage possible. Am I correct in assuming that you're interested in protecting what matters most to you?
Yes, I am, but you guys have just been really fucking annoying me.
I apologize if our...
Anyways, you get the point. So it's a demo call that's not only straight to the point, showing how AI is able to turn a frustrated customer into a appointment, but it's also hooking in the lead. Oh, what the fuck, you son of a bitch, you're calling me for the 10th time this week, right? It's hooking in the lead. And it's attracting their attention, it's standing out. There's going to be 1 out of 100 ads on Facebook that have a hook like that. That's going to stand out. And then you're retaining the customer by showing them a product that is what you're going to be selling, right? It's the best way to relieve the confusion. And then everything in terms of the technical side is covered on the virtual sales letter, and I'll talk about that as well too, okay? So those are the two options that you have for the creative. The AI demo, like I said, is literally just you call with Synflow, you download the recording, and then you upload it to Veed, and then you could create that demo pretty easily, or you just copy and paste the script into arcads.ai and you create that script. Now what happens once they've clicked on this ad? So we've used the primary text and the headline with ChatGPT to obtain what we require. We have our ad creative. You could test both. What happens when they click learn more? So this is it's structured into 3 pages, this booking funnel. So you have the VSL page, you have the booking page plus qualifying questions, and then you have the thank you page and the booking VSL. Now on the VSL page, it's calling out the business directly. It has the VSL that they have to watch, and then it just has a simple financial qualification. We want to make sure everybody who's on the calendar at least is able to afford what we're selling at the minimum payment plan structure. So we either have 10,000 up front, or we split it into 2 payments of $6,000. So minimum, we want them to have $6,000 plus. Now, once they've gone through that, they go to the booking page and qualifying questions. So they have the calendar, they have a bunch of qualifying questions, name, email, phone number, website URL, just explaining their business. If they have so that's the 5K for the split. If they have a guaranteed ROI, have they watched the pre-call video? Do they honor to show up on time? And then once that's complete, they have the thank you page. So it's just a professional looking background, thanking them for booking the call, telling them about the next steps, making sure that they add the event to their calendar. Sending them to the next page. So right here you can see just adding the event to the calendar, and then once again ensuring that they've watched the VSL. We want to make sure if they haven't watched the VSL before they get on the call, our triager will automatically cancel and reschedule if they haven't watched the VSL. Now, this is all great and dandy, but did you know that 1 to 3% of leads that come through actually self-book? So between the VSL page and the booking page, once they have passed this and they go into the booking, 1 to 3% of all leads that are coming through your funnel are not booking. How are we going to fix this? How are we going to optimize? Because it just isn't cost efficient to pay for 100 leads and have one come through and book. What we're going to do is we're going to use exactly what we are selling. So we're going to have a AI caller within 5 minutes after them opting in, call them. Synflow, Vappy, Insight, whatever it may be. And once they opt in 5 minutes later, they have the SMS. So we'll send them a text message, and then the AI will call them twice. Then 15 minutes after they opt in, a second text is going to be sent. Hey, did you get my call? I tried to call you just 5 minutes ago. I want to make sure that you're still interested in blah, 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 blah. Then an hour later, another SMS bumping it up. Another 24 hours later, another SMS. Another 48 hours later, another SMS. Then an hour after they book in, or an hour after they've opted in, AI calls them again. AI will call them again 12 hours later. And then it will continue to call them twice a week for a month. Now, what we're going to do once per month is at that point in time, if a lead hasn't responded, it's not worth it to do daily follow-ups anymore. It's just going to, cost a lot of money, to be honest, for per text, per email usage basis. So what we're going to do is we're just going to send a monthly call, a monthly SMS, and a monthly email to try and reactivate the lead and get them back on the calendar, okay? And get them to book on the calendar. At that point in time, they're considered a dead lead, and we are literally trying to revive them. Now, the cool thing about this is the exact process that we use and what we're selling. So this is what we're selling to them. We're selling a conversational AI agent mixed with a hybrid of SMS and email in order to get the lead to pick up the phone and optimize, right? That's part of our solution. And the cool thing about that is you're going to increase your booking rate minimum by 10% if you're doing this, which is pretty cool. Okay, so this is how we're going to fix the problem. Now, that's the entire funnel process. That's how you're going to convert the lead and set everything up. That's all great and dandy, Nick, but what about the sales call? Okay, how am I going to pitch? How am I going to sell this client? Well, it's pretty simple. One of the most important things that you need to understand is you need to understand your niche. You need to understand the people that you're selling to, like you are an expert. Okay, you need to be an expert. You need to speak their language. And one thing that I know specifically from working with home service businesses is I know that they're not techie guys. If I go to them and I tell them, hey guys, we're going to have an AI agent that's doing 10,000 calls per minute, and it's going to use ChatGPT 4.0 on the back end, and it's going to convert all your leads with all this, they don't give a shit. They're going to say, fuck you, Nick. I don't even know what you're talking about, you goofy little fucking kid. That's what they're going to say. Okay, that's what they're going to say. So you need to sell the outcome, especially for new tech. People don't understand, especially if you're working with older people with home service-based businesses. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to literally pull it up on the call, and you're going to remove all remorse. Okay, so this is going to be the onboarding. Once we get you set up, okay, we're going to send over an onboarding form. We're going to get started, and we're going to create all of your ads. We're going to have everything created. Before we even set up the AI caller, we're going to have the ads warm up. We're going to have them optimized. We're going to review the ads, and then we're going to send them live. Okay, we're going to have them live. As soon as we start to go live after the ad warm up, we're going to have the AI caller set up that's going to dial all of your leads and then also text and email them in order to get them to pick up the phone the next time, okay? While that's going on, we're going to have a copywriter that's using AI for your sales refinement, or we're going to replace your closer to ensure that he can keep up with the amount of calls coming in and is able to close at a consistent, good close rate. While all of that is happening, we're having money in and new clients. And obviously, if your offer has different things in, now depending on your offer, you might have a reactivation sequence, you might have a bunch of different things that you can do at the same time, but you want to sell the outcome. Okay, this is the processes, this is the system. This is going to remove remorse, but this isn't what's going to allow you to collect $10,000 up front. There's a bunch of different things that you can use to use conversions and show the numbers and show the clear difference, but you need to be selling the outcome on these calls. And I have a bunch of YouTube videos that dive deep into the process. I'm going to be uploading a new video very soon where I'm walking through a live sales call of a PIF client and showing how we were able to collect $10,000 up front very soon. And I'm going to break down like the system, the psychological factor behind everything. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Now, you have everything that you need to know in order to start selling AI today. I just broke it down, the entire process. And I do understand that some of you might need a little extra hand holding, okay? You might not understand things fully to the max, or you just want to skip the trial and error, or you prefer to work with somebody who has done it before. I actually have an opportunity for you. You can work with me one-on-one in my team. We actually help people. So aside from selling AI, we help people sell AI alongside us. So we call it a partnership opportunity. It's not a direct partnership with us, so it does require an investment. The reason why I say partnership is I hate the word course or students or any of that shit. I treat you as my equals, and I'm passing the knowledge that I've learned from doing over $500,000 selling AI to you. So if you're interested in something like that and you want a little bit of extra help and hand holding, there's going to be a link in the description, for the one and only link in the description. You can book a call with me. Like I said, it will require an investment, so if you're not willing to invest, don't book a call. Like I said, you can do everything completely on your own if you'd like. With all my YouTube videos, I explain the entire process. I literally broke it down in this video. But yeah, if you want to skip, the trial and error, and you want to know the newest and the best ways to do anything when it comes to selling phone calling AI, you can book a call below and work with me and my team. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.